Okay.
Bro, why don't you just go on mute, bro? If you're gonna be like this, just go on mute.
But this is the point of the conversation, right?
All
There's
right,
other ways to
guys,
find
we
this.
are live. Give me a second, real quick. Hey, sorry about that, everyone. Crap happens. We are live again. Still talking about the same thing. I'm just gonna ask you guys to just relax a little bit. I don't want basically a insult shit talking game to start happening. I'd rather just keep it on topic. Um, if you want to clarify what's going on, it's fine, but we don't need the aggressive back and forth part of it.
All right, we'll let Montreal explain what he's looking for.
Well, I was talking with somebody else about the orientation change of the gyroscope, and he was telling me that we need an expensive gyroscope because it won't show an orientation change of a really crappy one won't do it, right? And I said, okay, fair enough. So I asked him then, if I get a really crappy one, a gyroscope that is, and spin it up and take it and put it in my hand and change the orientation of my hand, would the wheel follow? Because according to what he said, yeah, it's not sensitive enough, so the wheel should follow. And that's
Grossly
where we...
mischaracterized.
then go ahead, correct me, sir. What would happen in
Your
that instance?
gyro will show a bunch of noise as well as the actual rotation, but it will acquire a bunch of drift.
So it will show a difference.
It will show a difference, but the desired signal that you're looking for is much, much, much smaller than you manipulating with your hands. You're looking for a change in the degrees per minute, or even like fractions of a degree per minute. And a cheap mechanical gyro will wander way more than that. So your desired signal will be completely swamped by instrument noise.
So, real quick.
So now in English, will it show a change? Like I said, yes or no?
I'm sorry, this is science. It's complicated. If you don't know,
well, maybe we're not as
school.
smart as you. Maybe we're not as smart as you. In English, I'm gonna ask you a plain question.
You just
Will it?
are not.
Sean, is this acceptable?
Yeah. No, it's not. Just let him get it out. I get what he's saying at the same time, because what you said, I don't get. He's asking, can you just layman it out a little bit? That was for Totoro.
I'm sorry if I lay it out.
Can you make it, explain it to the layman? Make it simpler.
Explain it like you're explaining it to me. Dumb it down a whole lot.
Okay.
A whole lot.
See, I'm not the only one. You see? Yeah.
Okay.
And me too.
So a gyro. So conceptually, a gyro will keep a rigid orientation in space, but it is still an analog system mounted in a set of gimbals, which have a set of bearings, which themselves have a bunch of drag on them. So if you manipulate the gimbal mount and you drag, you basically are inducing very slight changes, very slight forces that are going to cause the gyro axis of rotation to drift ever so slightly. If you do not have a very high quality mount and a very high quality gyro system, then the amount of drift will far outweigh what you're trying to look for in the rotation of the Earth. The rotation of the Earth is a very minute signal, so you have to have a very precisely built system in order to avoid those.
So can I ask, does that mean the bearings are going to bind a little bit because of the outside loads? Is that what you're saying there? That creates noise?
Yes, I mean, any bearing has a certain amount of drag on it.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That's cool. That's well explained.
And another question I have, that precession, is that the same as a changing direction? That change in orientation, that's basically precession, right?
Yes. You'll see it as precession is essentially you just perceiving a change of the axis of rotation of a gyro, and there can be a bunch of reasons for that. It can be mechanical drag on the gyro. It can be external rotations. It can be a whole bunch of stuff. Even the aerodynamic drag in the gyro if it's not a vacuum gyro. And I just posted a pair of pictures from a video where a guy is running an attitude indicator on his table and slowly moving it through a few orientations. These two pictures are taken about a minute apart of the guy just moving the gyro about a little bit, tilting it 45 degrees one way, 20 degrees the other way, and watch what happened with the attitude indication on the card there. It drifted by a good 2.5 degrees. That card on there, the pitch ladder, is calibrated. That 20 mark, that's 20 degrees. So half of that is 10, half of that is 5. If you look where the center point there, initially it starts right at the line, and then it's almost a good half of that yellow ball deflected up. So that's about 2.5 degrees of drift just by sitting on the table and the guy moving it about a little bit. That's why an attitude gyro in an aircraft is nowhere near sensitive enough to show you the desired signal.
Can I ask another? If the gyro itself was actually two wheels spinning in opposite directions through like a little drive or something, would that get rid of a lot of that noise? Because as you're saying, that signal noise ratio, I guess, if you're moving it around, it's going to knock it a degree or two out. Would another one going the other way actually compensate for that and try to clear that up? So having two gyros rotating in opposite directions on the same plane, actual plane.
I think that would actually destroy the gyro functioning itself. It might just cause the gyro to freely spin, because you would have essentially zeroed out the angular momentum vector.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be a problem. Typically, if you're looking for navigational gyros, they're built out of two wheels that are at 90 degrees to each other. And then there's a bunch of either gas-filled bearings or magnetic bearings, and the whole thing is sitting in a vacuum.
For that and try to clear that up. So having two, great answer. Love that.
So I'm sure everybody's clear now on my very precise question. If you take a gyro on the plane, will the base show precession change? I'm sure everybody now listening is 100% clear on that answer of what he's just said right now, right?
Yep.
And anybody could just steel man him right now on the panel, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. Yep.
So what is an attitude indicator on an airplane designed to do?
See that? He asks a question. Doesn't answer what I said. Nobody attempted to say to steel man him, right? So in other words, nobody has a clue of the answer to my question.
Yeah, we understand. I'm asking you, do you understand what an attitude indicator on an airplane
Steel man what he just said, B-Ball. Steel man what he just said.
Yeah, hang on, B-Ball.
No, what's the matter?
Hang on. Yeah. Montreal does bring up a good point. You said what you said, but you just said it differently. I don't understand still.
Okay.
Okay, how about this? Okay, hang on. So let's walk through it. Okay, so you're sitting in a plane. You have your gyroscope that you built on your little table that you have. You put it on there. You're saying that if it's low quality, basically the bearings will rub due to any precession of the base or any movement of the base. I'm sorry.
The bearings themselves have non-zero friction. Every mechanical system does. So that will induce any number of possible disturbances and sources of noise in the measurement that you're trying to look for. The gyro will never be perfectly rigid in space. And the problem is that basically environmental noise, like the airplane being bumped about, can in itself induce a whole bunch of noise in the system. That's why you need a fairly high quality system to be able to navigate.
Okay. Now, here's the overall question, and I think Montreal would agree. Find me the cheapest quality system, and then we can start talking about whether or not what we want to do with that system would work. Did I just sum it up, Montreal?
Yeah, bro. How many times have you heard me ask this question at Earth Awakenings? Shout out Gio and the boys. How many times have you heard me ask this question? It's always the same answer, bro. We don't have a good enough gyroscope. That's why I'm here today. I saw blue, and I want to answer to that.
Did his audio just drop on me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got a call.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was me or not. One, I think. So, yeah, we need to find a mechanical gyro that is capable of this, so we can see what it would cost to build. So we have the base of this of what SE wants, right? This is the beginning of it. I don't think I'm not gonna lie to you, SE. I don't think Rakia is on this enough for his word to be enough. He, especially because he's very much a part of this. I would think he would record it. I also understand why his $200 gyroscope wouldn't work.
Fair enough, and I don't expect any one of you to trust any one of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm here in good faith. Blue,
Yeah.
no, I get it, bro. It's no hard feelings. Blue is here. He's an engineer. I figured I'd come in and maybe get Blue's opinion on this. He's respected by you guys. If he says it, I'm sure you guys are gonna back it up. So
Yeah, I would. But I think I mean, Blue can speak for himself, but I think right now the biggest issue would be the cost to make one of these.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't think it's going to be in the under $5,000 range.
we can crowdfund that. We can raise that in what, in an afternoon?
I mean, Blue has done some amazing things already that flat earthers have already just ignored anyway. So what would be the point of trying to get Blue to build something like this?
Well,
just
Blue's
to
already said.
see a procession.
Oh, Blue
Blue
can't.
said he's not,
His
yeah.
specialty is woodworking. Yeah, we asked him already.
Yeah, he said he's not capable of it. Now it's just he's an engineer. Basically Montreal wants a figure for what it would be to do this, and he thought an engineer would be able to help him do that. I get where the meta is starting. Montreal isn't saying they do not work. Montreal's not saying you guys are just full of shit. He's saying I want to see it. He's saying now I want to see it. I want to see the apparatus at which you guys are comfortable with SE Montreal, Rakia, or whoever recording, obviously, using it. That's all he's asking. He's not. I haven't really heard it doesn't work argument yet.
If it does process, what will be the implications of that?
It's a globe. He said it. Montreal said it very clearly.
Okay.
He said it. He said it at the very beginning. If it
a
processes,
laser,
it's a globe. Absolutely.
And a ring laser gyroscope just isn't enough, right? Even the ones that
I'm not talking about a ring laser. What? You see, he keeps trying to change it over to something else.
I'm just asking why isn't that good enough?
I think
because we want to see a visual. I explained it to you many times.
Yeah.
We want to see a visual. We want to see a relationship between the flywheel and the base.
Yeah. He wants to see.
I told you many times.
Yeah, he wants to see an observable effect. He doesn't want to see a digital readout saying it did.
Okay, I get it.
And Totoro, that link you showed earlier with the fiber gyroscopes, that's digital, right?
Yes.
And
that's
digital
why I said that's
is
the cost-effective solution.
And digital is the cheapest way to do it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I saw was a standalone. It was just a little looked like a little Alexa. That you plug into a monitor, obviously. That shit was $5,000. Yeah. So I'm guessing what you're gonna want Montreal is gonna be between 10 and 15-ish, and then you're gonna need someone capable of building it or selling one. That's my opinion, though.
My problem would be, what if it's done and then there's some sort of error with it, and then we just wasted $15,000?
It's not your money. Someone fucking called
D-Ball is just a naysayer today. That's it. He's trying to play the 10th man, which is good.
Just saying, there's plenty of other ways of doing it. I mean, you're kind of pigeonholing your. I want to see this procession, and this is the only way I want to see it. This one way, and that's it.
No, we're just talking about this way now.
Yeah.
Just one way that they want to do it. I mean, I get what you're saying, B-Ball. I mean, we could just crowdfund $5,000 and get a digital one, and the digital one will just say it. But then you got to battle that the software told it to do that. Then you got to battle how do you know that it's not a program that does that based on your GPS look. Like, I get why the mechanical side of it is. It's kind of like why didn't Blue just go out and buy a fucking a Cavendish, right? He wanted to be hands-on. He wanted to build it. Mm-hmm. He could have just got on his phone and found a simulator. But I do get the reason for it. But I also agree that the reason is probably unreachable in this community. Sorry, Essie. I just don't think Flat Earth is willing to do it. That's just me.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, if that's the assessment, that's the assessment. I mean, if the assessment is it's too expensive and no one can build it, well, I guess that's what we got out of today.
Yeah, well, on the same note, I want to make this clear again. Montreal hasn't said nothing works. Hasn't said anything. He's literally sat here just saying, "I want to see," and what will it take? Feasible. It's possible, Montreal. I just don't think it's possible that money wise.
Here, Jesse built one. Here's one. I think this is a good one. Mechanical gyroscope shows Earth's rotation 15 degrees per hour.
But that was
he wants to have it. He wants to have it in an aircraft in flight. So there's going to be a whole bunch of environmental noise, and the gyro is going to have to be perfectly balanced, because otherwise, any acceleration on the aircraft is going to induce a precessive force. So he's literally asking for one of the most expensive versions, and then asking us to do it on the cheap.
Well, it's got to be on the cheap.
No, I'm not asking you to do it on the cheap, bro. Don't put words in my mouth.
It's got to. Well, it's got to be on the cheap. Let's keep it real, Montreal. It does have to be cheap.
Yeah, but not the way he said it. Like I mean, we get it as cheap as possible, but it has to be sufficient to do the job.
Yes. It can't be some crap.
Like, you don't have to buy a Rolls Royce, right? You can buy a Kia. Like, that's what I'm saying, right? They're both cars, right? Yeah.
But this is the age-old thing. This is the age-old thing. We want cost efficiency and best accuracy, and that's the engineering feat, isn't it? You achieve that, you are a good engineer. So good point, Montreal. I like what you're saying. Yeah, is that a better wording for you? Cost efficient.
I love that. That's good. Yeah,
makes more sense.
But it has to be on an aircraft?
Well, you could be in a car, or it could be anywhere. But I think the aircraft would be the best, I think. But here, you wanna go on the Japanese rail system, B-Ball? You can do that if you want, right? You guys love that one. I mean, I don't care.
Totoro, why did you say it wouldn't? It would be kind of difficult to show again?
On an aircraft or in general?
On an aircraft.
Aircraft in flight are subject to various perturbations. Especially if you're talking about a small GA aircraft, there's a fair amount of turbulence down low, and you're just going to induce a bunch of lateral loads onto the gyro, which means that your gyro system needs to be perfectly balanced. Basically, its center of mass needs to be very close to the center of the gimbal system, because otherwise you basically are inducing a differential acceleration between one part and another part of the gyro, which will cause the axis of the gyro to precess.
So basically, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Imagine it's like you held the axis of the gyro and you pushed only on one side of it, which will cause the gyro.
Ooh, I could show this. That
yeah, exactly. That wheel is basically that spinning wheel is the classic example of it.
Wait, so Totoro, what you're looking at on the screen right now on Discord.
Yep.
Wait, where the fuck did it go? Oh, there it is. So you get this. This makes.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
That's essentially what would happen.
When I do this.
That's essentially what would happen, even if the gyro is suspended like by both ends. If it is slightly out of balance in terms of weight distribution, then you're going to end up, if you push on it, like if you push it laterally sideways one way or the other, just due to aircraft turbulence, it will cause the axis to be basically precess like that.
So basically,
the right-hand rule.
It would have to be a flight that with no turbulence at all.
Yeah, and no accelerations preferably, so that doesn't really exist. That's why everybody who does a demonstration of gyro precession due to the Earth's rotation does it on a stationary platform, because they can level a table and avoid anybody sort of bumping up against the table to induce any additional random noise in there.
Right.
Yeah, but all these movements, right? Using the right-hand rule and calculations, torque and precession, you can basically know if you tap it in this direction, you can basically know what it's going to do.
Well,
so all this is figured out. Yeah.
You're gonna have to first of all then record all the accelerations that the aircraft has sustained to a very high degree, So now you also need to build a triaxial accelerometer with logging and very high resolution. Good stuff. That's just gotten more difficult. Then you need
No,
to
I'm not
character.
suggesting that, bro.
No,
Take it easy. You're too technically your technical drive is on high, bro. I
you're-
mean,
Well,
Yeah.
you propose the solution, and I'm immediately showing you exactly what the problem is and what you need to do to actually implement that solution. You'd also need to characterize all the processive and weight distribution parameters of your gyro system. So that at this point, you're basically designing a navigational mechanical gyro.
I'm not designing anything, bro. I just made a comment, a simple comment.
I'm just saying that if you wanted to do this properly and rigorously, that's what you would have to do.
This is very simple, bro. You don't need to be a mechanical wizard.
Well,
You don't need to. All you
yet,
gotta do is listen, bro. All you gotta do
and
is
yet
take a
there
gyroscope.
are.
Why are
Yet
you
there are
interrupting me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Did I not let you
hang
speak?
on, hang on, guys, hang on.
Well, that's Andres.
Let Montreal get it out.
All you gotta do, buddy, is find a sufficient gyroscope that's precise enough, like the one FE Core built that you guys agree. Bring it on board, spin the thing up, and see what happens. It's not rocket science. Either you're gonna see the base change orientation with respect to the spinning wheel or not. You see how simple I explained it? No math, no fancy words, just that.
Right. And if you observe a change in orientation, then what? What does that prove?
It's a globe.
Well, that's what we're talking. This is the whole thing. What we're talking about. If you live on a ball, right, and you go in a straight line and you go around it, you're gonna see precession change. You're gonna see the base change precession. If you're not on a ball, you will not see that. How simple is that?
But if you see a change, how do you know that the change you've observed isn't due to instrument noise and just the instrument not being sensitive enough or drifting randomly? Because that's
What kind of no?
thing.
What kind of?
That's the next thing I could do as a flat earther. Say, no, it's just random drift. Show that you've flown in the correct direction.
Well, I'll let you pick a direction. What do you think the best direction would be? Not to avoid all these noise things that you keep saying.
Well,
What do you think the best would be?
Easiest solution would be to go on the equator and fly east, but at that point, that's not quite so easy always to get to.
Okay, but you can go close enough, right?
Perhaps, and perhaps not.
Would like San Diego to Florida suffice?
There you go.
Okay. Do you have an aircraft that can fly that far?
Oh, yeah.
In
We
one
can.
shot?
Southwest.
You name it, whatever direction you want. So at least we have a route now. Thank you, Sean.
So how did you? Okay.
Okay, so we have a route, right? Now we have we have a precise gyro, right? So what do you expect to see in your model? That route that Sean just laid out for us.
How precisely can you hold the gyro?
Very precise.
Sure. So you say in a passenger seat.
Well,
hey guys.
like he's trying to make every little thing. Yeah.
Hang on. I gotta do this. Has nothing to do with you guys. I gotta do it because it's just my duty. Anamorphic Mind. Thank you for the super chat. I'm not gonna read that. It's not okay. I don't like that.
Let me guess. It's an insult to me. This goes way back, right?
Yes.
I knew it.
Is. Yes. I'm not.
What's up, buddy? That's my little poodle.
But thank you for the $5 super chat. I won't delete it, but I sure as hell ain't gonna read it.
Yeah, we goes back from the JG days. Remember that, Sean? Of course we do.
Oh yeah. I'm hoping JG
Can I just point out too, there is going to be a bit of an issue, guys, on a plane with a little box on the seat next to you. No, it's not a bomb. It's an experiment to do with the precession of the Earth's gyroscopic. Oh yeah, the airport staff are going to say that's a fucking bomb.
Oh no, they'll open it. They'll look at it. They'll do it for sure. I'll tell you guys about my TSA experience after in a little bit. Well, I kind of want you guys to go ahead and finish. Just try to be cordial. But yeah, I'll talk about that after you guys are done.
I just happen to think that SC Montreal has a bit of a naive imagination. He understands the concept, but the actual implementation is quite a bit more difficult when you actually get to the fine details, because there's a whole lot of ways to mess it up. And as B-Ball said earlier, it's far easier. There are far easier ways to demonstrate various effects.
Yeah, but you got to understand the naive that you're talking about is him asking questions. He's literally just asking questions. I haven't heard like I've heard you say 3 times. Yeah, he's asking the same questions. But here's the thing, B-Ball and Tutor, you both are going at SC like he's going. The gyroscopes don't work. The gyroscopes won't process. Like he's just asking questions. He like you're like the flat earthers will say this, the flat earthers will say that, and I have not heard him once make a claim at all.
So I'm playing a video where Jesse's literally measuring the 15 degrees per hour. Unfortunately, it's not on an aircraft.
Going to it right now.
You see, he's talking about rotation now, right? Completely not what we're talking about.
What's the difference?
Here's the problem,
Orientation change. Orientation change. Precession. It's the same thing.
No, it's not in this case. It's not. We're talking about 2 different things.
It's not. You might want to look up the definition of that.
In a different axis.
Yeah, see, those 2 things are tangled up together.
Yeah, but it's different axes, right?
There's only one we can get away. Only one that we can get rid of. We can get rid of the one where we're actually moving over the surface of the Earth. We can't get rid of the rotation of the Earth.
But that's an assumption on your part, bro. Don't you get it? You're assuming the Earth is spinning.
We can measure it. Yes, see.
Wait.
The gyroscope does that.
Yeah, hang on. Okay, hang on. I want to just get this clear real quick. Okay, the rotation, 15 degrees, that is done by standing still.
Yes.
What you want is in a situation where you're now moving, right?
Correct.
Wouldn't the the rotation, the 15 degree, be so minuscule in that apparatus reading that it would be negligible?
Exactly. Tell them.
No.
Okay, hang on.
No.
Okay. Explain.
No, hell no.
Okay.
It's huge.
Okay.
In a general aviation aircraft, the best you could hope for at mid-latitude is maybe 2 degrees per hour. The Earth is rotating at 15 degrees per hour.
So there is a measurable amount that would happen. That they have to calculate for, otherwise.
Otherwise your
speed's
Blue Marvel's
off.
saying 2 degrees per hour. He means on top of that 15 degree per hour extra.
Right.
Okay.
Change. So he means essentially a degree per hour would be 60 nautical miles per hour. So 120 nautical miles is 120 knots. That's your typical Cessna speed. That's what he's talking about.
Exactly.
If I may, Mr. Speaker, can I throw up a question? That's at the equator. It's the worst. That's the highest speed. What about closer? What about up at, say, 45 degrees? Wouldn't we need to go less to get the 15 degrees? Or does that go
totally different? Yep.
No. It's 15 degrees per hour no matter where you are.
Right.
That
So
that doesn't change. Now, the airplane, 120 nautical miles at 45 degrees latitude, is we'd have to do the calculation on that, but yeah, the rate that you're going to see at that point is going to be maybe 3 degrees.
Yeah, give or take. It's still going to be dominated by.
But it's still dominated by the rotation of the Earth.
Okay, fair enough.
Earth's rotation is still going to be 5 times whatever you see in a GA aircraft.
Also, if we go in the opposite direction, thus meaning we're washing it off we're trying to cancel out by going the opposite to the Earth.
Well,
the one they bring up all the time.
Going east-west, one way you get 18, the other way you get 12.
Okay, cool.
Not constant. Not constant. Anyways, we're veering off topic. We're going back to rotation. Always going back to rotation.
SE, you can't. As much as you want to make this simple, it's just not simple. I'm sorry.
Blue, it's very simple. I have a gyro in my hand. I move. The base moves independently of the wheel. That's very simple, plain English, bro. You know I'm right.
just
I
explaining how that works.
absolutely know how it works, SC. You are correct.
Thank you. So why is it difficult? Why is this difficult?
I think you just explained it earlier.
I think I have.
But how could I be correct and not correct at the same time?
In theory, yes, but remember what you just explained earlier.
You're
You're on the aircraft, you're bouncing around. There's other movements involved.
Your hand waving rotation. As far as what I'm getting from it in my statement that I was told I was wrong about, is it is one more part that you have to account for, but if you're not accepting of it, then you're going to have off numbers. So then what? I think that's
yeah, but I can show it in my room. I can show it anywhere, right? I don't have a gyroscope. I wanted to buy one, but obviously I don't want to waste my money. Anyways, that's another story. But you can show what I'm saying. Anybody with a toy gyroscope, you can show it.
So you accept that they work sitting still, right?
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant, bro. That's irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant because that would be the base understanding of what it's going to do. Because because when it sits on your table, what would be the difference between it sitting on your table and it sitting in an airplane?
The difference is that you're changing you're changing direction, right? So you're moving in that direction, right?
Yes.
So the base is sensitive to whatever orientation you're at, right? So if you fly in a certain direction.
Hang on, I'm sorry. I just gotta just hit my brain. I don't want to forget it. Is there a way, and this would probably be to Blue or Totoro because you guys are the smart ones here. Is there a way to build a gyroscope system in water?
That'll be much worse for the gyro, but I guess. I mean, the
Do you
principle
see what?
is valid everywhere.
Do you see what I'm going for?
Well, aren't the new gyro compasses in liquid? In a ball?
It'd be like this. What I'm saying is kind of like this. The same way Cavendish Blue has to be torsioned so that it does nothing else is factored to it. Is there a way to have a gyroscope apparatus in a plane that you could sit down, sit on a tray, but the vibration and everything isn't going to affect it?
Usually what they do is they put them on springs and dampers if you're looking for a way to avoid having external influences on it.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. Okay, so we could build a base that SE's gyroscope sits on to null some of the issues. What'd you call it?
Yeah.
Earth's turbulence or
the perturbations from turbulence and aircraft motion. Yes.
And that's a cheap. And that's a very cheap method of doing it, right?
That would get rid of very short-term perturbations. It wouldn't get rid of systematic perturbations that are long-term, for example, like the aircraft accelerating or changing direction. But at this point, you're introducing additional variables and making the design much more complex.
But would it work? Oh, okay.
It might help a little bit for a few things, but
would it make a cheaper gyroscope work better?
Maybe. I'm not really sure.
Well, if they use these springs to do it anyway, it would obviously do so. It would take something out of it. I get what you're saying. An airplane hitting turbulence is different than an airplane causing vibration by running the tarmac.
I mean more in the sense of just literally speeding up and changing direction in flight.
So how do the onboard gyros do it? How do they do it? How do they eliminate this bumpy and all this stuff that you guys are talking about?
Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, I was going to say, better yet, before ring laser gyros.
Yeah, before exactly the 6-pack.
Before, you know what the ring laser gyros would have been are you talking about attitude or navigation gyros? Attitude gyros are nowhere near precise enough. to
The
where it would matter.
navigation. The navigation.
Navigation gyros are like that LN3 that I showed you earlier. That is extremely expensive. They're very finely built. That's how they solved that.
Okay.
What an
So,
an attitude
wait.
gyro is not.
Hang on. I'm sorry, Montreal. The one you showed us was not an aircraft back in the day that when they started using gyroscopes, right? Mechanical ones. That's a new mechanical one. We're talking. Okay, what year did they start putting mechanical gyroscopes in planes?
Which gyro?
I don't know.
There are lots of gyros in airplanes.
Well, that's
Yeah.
probably why this is even more complicated than I realize.
You have an attitude indicator. You have a directional gyro. You have a turn and bank coordinator, which is also
There's the
a
six
gyro.
pack.
Oh, okay. Now
That's not a six pack.
Oh
No.
shit!
Now you've got the inertial navigation system.
I get it now. You're talking so blue. In the plane, the horizon thing, that's a gyro.
That's the attitude indicator. Yes.
Okay. So then the fuck. It's been so long already. Damn. Pitch? No, that's the horizon one. No,
He's just
yeah,
showing
heading. The
directional
heading
gyro.
one. The
Yeah.
heading. That's
Directional
the heading one.
gyro is a representation of your heading.
Yes. And then the other one is
A turn
Nice.
coordinator. A turn coordinator is an instrument that we use for instrument flying, basically,
Yeah, that's
to be able to turn at a standard rate.
yeah, your
Can I read
pitch,
something real quick?
right? It's a pitch. Nose left to right. Am I wrong?
So the
Yeah, go ahead.
first flight instrument in an aircraft was a gyroscope stabilizer. It was first used publicly in 1914 in a Curtiss C-2 biplane.
Yeah, sure. That stands to reason.
Yeah, it was designed to improve the stability and control of the aircraft and utilize the inputs from several other instruments to allow an aircraft to automatically maintain a desired compass heading and attitude.
Well, hang on. You're talking about
Yeah,
some
it's
sort of
something else.
automation. Yeah, that's an automation system.
Yeah, those are the systems that like
stabilizer?
yeah, those are
Yeah.
the same systems that like big cargo ships, like oil tankers and shit use to keep them from yawing, tilting. I don't what the fuck is it called? Pitching when they go sideways. That's what you're talking about. You're
Rolling.
talking about roll. It's a
Okay.
system that keeps them balanced. It's right idea, wrong system that we're talking about.
Right. So there.
Earth
Yeah.
is life.
Aircraft don't
Well-
contain anything like that anymore.
Go
It
ahead.
may have been used in 1914. It hadn't been used in the last 70 years.
No, I was just reading that because someone asked when was the first gyroscope in an aircraft.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a stabilizer would probably be more sort of a stability augmentation system just to help you out a little bit.
Okay.
Blue Marble, we'd probably call that like a wing leveler.
Yeah,
Something like that.
if you want any idea of
Yaw
how great,
damper, maybe.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
if you want to know how great those gyroscope stabilizers in a plane would be, if you want to know what it's like without one, go to Google Maps or what is that? Google Earth, and do their flight simulator. That does not have that. you have to hit left and right nonstop. Otherwise, you just go sideways and side. I know that was ridiculous. I apologize.
Yeah, it's like when we talk about instruments, we literally mean like the information that is presented to the pilot. How that information is used, whether in manual flight or in some sort of automatic flight, is kind of beside the point. That's a later thing. And Montreal also always mentions the six-pack. Six-pack is literally just 6 instruments, among them being an attitude indicator, directional gyro, and a turn coordinator.
Yeah, it's the part of the instruments. Yeah.
On little Cessnas, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. How many of those have gyroscopes in them? Oriented. Well, different.
Hang on.
Of course, but how many of them?
Don't say it. Don't say it. I want to say it because I want to count them. 1, 2, 3. 3 of those at 6-pack.
Yeah, there you go.
3 amigos.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
The other 3 being airspeed indicator, altitude indicator, and vertical speed indicator.
Where is it?
But in any case,
Right.
the mechanization of these is not really designed around trying to keep a rigid orientation in inertial space. It's not what they're designed to do, so they don't.
Yeah, I have it on my screen, the 6-pack.
Okay, so I got to take off, guys.
Hey,
Can we
hey, I
do like a
appreciate you coming in,
conclusion?
man. Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
are you kidding, bro? I told you. For you, Sean, anytime.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah,
But can
go
we
ahead.
do like a conclusion? Like, what, like the question that I asked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we, is there an acceptable gyroscope that can show orientation change over distance?
One at a
What's
time.
the conclusion to that? Can we build one? Can we buy one? If so, how much? What did we come up with?
I feel like we're at, it's buildable. It is doable. The cost is in question. We have a range. We also have a slew of factors to contribute, turbulence, etc., etc. But from what I got from it, it is doable. To what cost, though?
Yeah, it is conceptually doable. It's just fairly fine craftsmanship and fairly difficult to do, especially in a home environment. So
Okay.
generally nobody bothers with that.
So
Anybody else?
basically, if I get it correct, we can't buy one right now because they're kind of obsolete. The ones that you think are good enough.
Even the ones that you would buy need a fair amount of support infrastructure since they were built as integrated units. So you'd need, you can't literally just take the thing apart and watch it work, because the thing is so tightly integrated that you would break it basically by opening it up. It's like if you opened up a very finely made watch to just mess around with it, then it would stop working.
Gotcha. Okay, so basically, what we're left with is we would have to build one. Correct?
Yeah, and it's a fairly tricky process to make sure you're doing it right.
Okay, yeah,
That's fair enough.
Yeah, building it would be the surefire calibration way. Otherwise, you have to question calibration.
Yes. And if you want to do it, with off-the-shelf parts, you get a fiber optic gyro of reasonable quality off of like whatever online store you want. But then you have to write some support software to read out the data. If you want to make sure that you, to your own satisfaction, exclude any external influences, I don't know, put the thing in a metal box, ground a metal box, or do whatever. Make sure that it has absolutely no way to get any data signal into there. You're just reading out the orientation information. That way you can be sure it's not receiving any GPS or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and your knowledge far superior than ours, of course. But I was merely talking about the mechanical one. So
yeah,
okay.
Mechanical ones are very tricky to work with. That's why everybody kind of stopped.
Okay, so basically, we're left with we have to get the right bearings, the right person, and basically we have to build one.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I appreciate it.
Montreal, I appreciate you being here again. Anytime, floor is always yours, my friend. I think we should do this again with a gyroscope specific live stream. Not we don't have to do it like ASAP, but I want to understand this better because I get it, but I don't get it. And
yeah, anytime you want. And look, I put the word out for now that we have this out with the ballers, right? Try to find one. Maybe there is one on the market, right?
Yep.
I'm not saying there is or there isn't, but maybe there is one that will suffice and we can just buy it. So I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, and that's all you can do. And I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate the style at which you went about it because you definitely didn't play any claim games, and it's odd when people assume you do. Do me a favor when you go back over to Earth Awakenings server. Tell Jeremy I called him an asshole.
I shall, and shout out Jeremy, Geo, and the boys at Earth Awakenings. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
thanks, Sean, for giving me the opportunity, and thanks, guys, for being cool. And yeah, we'll do this again for sure.
Absolutely, sir. Have a good one.
Yep. Take it easy.
Yeah, I definitely want to do a gyroscope / gyro compass live stream, like what's dedicated to that, where I can actually look up more stuff. Because I've tried, but damn, that is not a topic that's easy to delve into, like to understand it all. Like,
How
you
much
put,
math are you willing to take in order to do that?
well, I'm good at math. Well, I'm good at the math I know, and I can figure shit out if explained correctly. But I don't want to
Enjoy
build
your
one.
Yeah, that's what I thought too when I started engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. Here's a little paper from that talks about inertial platform alignment and heading determination.
Excuse me?
And I posted it in chat.
Why?
I mean, for me, I'm comfortable enough with seeing, like, going online and seeing things like, yes, this is what it does. If it's sitting in one place for 1 hour, it'll process by this much. I'm comfortable enough, like, okay, people smarter than me have figured this out. I don't have to, like, oh, I need to see it to believe it. I need to see it. I'm pretty sure many people who have designed these things have tested them and have seen them do this.
Okay, so Totoro, so let me get
That's
this
my
straight.
point of view.
This thing that you're showing here. Why is my screen doing that?
Yeah, it's a fairly old paper, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah, it's not even. Okay, God, time out. Hang on. God damn it. Hang on. Okay. So you're telling me, so this thing you just shared, this. What the fuck is this, man? Holy crap.
This is a paper that talks about the mathematics about inertial navigation system alignment, where you achieve, which basically allows you to use the dynamics of a gyro-stabilized platform to determine your initial orientation in azimuth. So basically your heading. That's what aircraft do every day before every flight. And they're not doing it mechanically anymore. They have ring laser gyros, but they are able to essentially mathematically reproduce the same dynamics. So they're looking for the principal axis of rotation of the Earth. So their gyros are sensitive enough to detect the rotation of the Earth. And with that information, they are able to determine their own latitude and primarily their heading to within better than 0.1 degrees of true heading.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. You understand what the fuck's on the screen right now? Hang on, Booba. You understand what's on the screen right now?
Yeah, more or less.
Holy shit. Blue, does that make sense to you? These numbers and stuff?
Actually,
like I said,
Actually, yes, it does.
I am
Holy
perfectly
shit.
comfortable with people who are way more smarter than I am saying, yes, it does this. Instead of saying, well, I'm not convinced, I need to see it for myself.
So if you go a little bit up, if you go to, like, I think it's about the third or fourth page on there, if you go to a section labeled gyro compassing equation,
That's
if
a
you go
big
a
word.
little bit further down, it was 438. It says on the bottom of the page, so it might be a little bit further up. Sorry.
Okay, I think it's gonna be this page then.
And there we are. So there on that section, it's talking about the gyro compassing equation. That's telling and relating the rates of gyro precession, or essentially what they call it. It's really some torque motor drifts that are trying to keep the gyro platform level. And what it does is, since the platform is gyro stabilized, it experiences a little bit of precession, and you're trying to basically detect the rotation of the Earth in that precession, and that is then obtained as feedback signals from the torque motors that are trying to upright the platform up against the precession. And the equation is at the top of this page on the top right, where it is essentially relating theta A is your misalignment about the azimuth axis. That's your heading. It's basically the deviation from true north, and is correlating it to the drift about the east axis, and especially what you see there, omega A, that's the rate of Earth's rotation. So that's where that factors in. And if you do this for a little bit of time, you basically, if you integrate the amount of drifts that you're seeing coming off your torque motors for a few minutes, you're able to determine your own spatial orientation with respect to true north to a very high degree. But you need a fairly high quality gyro system for this, one that has very little drift.
You lost me
Okay,
at
so
page 4.
okay, Totoro. Firstly, that analogy, the valve tubes to transistors, I thought was a great one to explain the ring laser mechanical to the ring laser gyro. So that was a really good analogy. But with your knowledge, what they're trying to do is basically move something to somewhere else to say it didn't move. Now, from your knowledge, they're just going to end up with a gyroscope that's got 15 degrees angle on it when they get to the destination, aren't they? In hindsight, is that the hypothesis?
It's probably going to be even worse because they haven't correctly stabilized the platform, so there's going to be a bunch of random precession noise, especially if they're not on the equator. Because then even if you have the gyro basically sitting in the airplane, it's going to start drifting off to like one side. It's not going to perfectly rotate along back and forth. That's what you would expect if you were flying directly either east or west on the equator, but you're going to be at some partial latitude. So the axis of precession is going to be offset by like your latitude coefficient, and then there's going to be the additional noise from them accelerating and decelerating aircraft, and potentially any sort of environmental noise like the airplane going through any mild turbulence turns, stuff like that. That's going to induce additional drift in there, and they're basically just going to end up with some random noise. And the problem is that the signal that they're looking for is very minute. It's degrees per hour in that range, and yeah, you need fairly sensitive instruments to be able to determine that. That's why you go
Well,
to.
that's why
Hang on.
yeah,
I want to do
that's why.
something. Hang on. I want to do something fun. Toro. See, I don't know if I could do it. Hang on. Let's do this.
Well, just
What
the
am I
last
supposed to
question.
go?
Okay, hang on.
Totoro, are you actually an aircraft engineer? What's your job, man? Because you seem to know everything about this.
I work in simulator avionics. Yes.
I guessed as much.
Yes.
Okay,
Do me a
thank you.
favor.
This is my
Toro.
home turf, so to speak. Yes.
Yeah. That page we're looking at, I want you to click off it right now. I'm gonna trust you
sure.
to do this. Okay?
Yep.
I don't even know if I could do this.
What are you trying to?
Yeah, I'm
trying to quiz me on it? I don't remember the equations. I can tell you that.
No, I can't. I want you to understand something. The problem I'm having right now is how to express to you this glossary that's here to then see if you know what they mean, because I don't know how to express some of these things. So, what is the N, the 0, and then the N?
0 and the N.
So it's like a little 0 at the top left of the capital N.
0 and the N. I think, well, N is usually used in that paper to label the north axis of rotation or the north axis of the system.
Okay.
So most of these systems are referenced in the NED, northeast down axis. So you're going to have individual components of that gyro rate. So you're going to have like drift around the north axis, that's going to be dN. Drift around the east axis is going to be dE. And the 0 usually is then used as a initial drift and then the final drift. So it's a differential equation. So it starts like at this time t, I'm observing a drift of dN and minus dN0, which is where the drift started. So then you basically integrate, you sum that up over time, and that's going to give you your total drift about the north axis, east axis, and the azimuth axis.
Jesus Christ, you just basically
said. Does that make sense,
anyway.
Or am I complete?
The reason it makes sense, the only reason it makes sense is because every time you would say it, you were saying the term, and I'm because I'm literally looking at the thesaurus of it.
Anybody here?
That was crazy. How does your brain do that?
Yeah, waiting on Sean.
Yeah, we are. We're eating.
Okay. Sean might have lost connection or something.
Did I? No, I'm here. Wait,
has the computer combusted again?
Wait, you guys can't hear me?
I'm not sure what he was looking at, actually.
I think his brain might have broken.
Wait, but I can see myself talking. Can you guys hear me in YouTube? I'm not seeing a problem. What's going on here? You guys can't hear me.
When I suggested the double wheel spinny thing towards you, I was
Can you hear me?
thinking, look, my mechanical engineering is cars, and when you rev a car engine, you notice it always tips to the right or the left, which is that primary balance. So I was thinking, if you got rid of the primary vibration with having two gyros spinning in opposite directions, I thought, well, that's going to give it zero primary vibration errors. But as you pointed out, they're going to cancel out the actual.
Maybe it's me. Let's find out. Can you guys hear me in YouTube? No, that's not me. It was definitely on that end. Okay, it's on the Discord side. I don't know what Discord's doing. I thought it was me at first, but it's not. It's definitely Discord trying to reconnect. I can hear myself over there. This is probably one of the most complicated topics I've ever heard in my life. Give me a second, guys. I know what the problem is. Discord sucks. Let me figure this out. I got to basically reboot my Discord. Give me a second. Luckily, doing this with Discord doesn't affect the YouTube, so that does make me happy on that end. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, this is probably one of the most complicated conversations that I've ever really dealt with, because I really don't understand it at all. And then now that we're in those numbers, my brain hurts more. It's crazy. I don't know if what we were talking about before is actually possible. I'm guessing to build one, you have to know that math. I think I'm going to ask him that. I'm going there right now, guys. I think I'm going to ask him that. Oh, if anybody wants to join the panel, you can join. The Discord link is in the chat. You can join the VC. I'll get you verified, the whole nine. I gotta see if this works. Discord says there is no route to connecting. That is super fucking weird. It's saying reconnecting. RTC connecting. No route. Let's try it this way. So that was weird. It said I was still in there. Let's find out. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. While I fix that.
Taiwan or
oh, wait,
Singapore
there we go.
or whatever.
Yeah. Here's the details. Yeah, as of
Can you guys
Korean
hear
Air
me?
Cargo Flight 8509.
Check.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
That was weird. And for the record, it wasn't my computer, for anyone who wants to say that. Discord, it wouldn't let me connect. It kept saying there was no route to the voice chat. That was weird.
Well, I'm glad your $600 investment didn't just go up in flames.
Right? It's not even fucking funny. Why do you gotta say shit like that?
that would have been ironic.
That would have pissed me off.
You know, that kind of incident is unthinkable in my mind. I mean, how can a guy that's capable of flying a 747 not understand the instrument scan? Why is he just looking at an attitude indicator? Why is he not scanning his instruments? Why is he not looking at the altimeter, then the attitude indicator, then the turn coordinator, or the directional gyro? Why isn't he doing that?
Yeah, as a former Air Force colonel with 490 hours, 8,500 of which were on type.
Jesus God.
So that guy's seasoned veteran.
Most Cessna drivers understand that if the wings are level, the plane does not climb, it does not descend, and it does not turn.
Yeah, but in his case, his attitude indicator was basically just slowly tumbling off to one side, and that's what confused him.
Exactly, but I mean, if you're seeing your directional gyro showing you turning, and you had to be turning, something is wrong with the attitude indicator. That is immediately the red flag that says, stop looking at that. Don't look at that instrument anymore.
Yeah, here's a comparison of what the captain saw versus what the co-pilot saw on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So the captain saw on wings level, a little bit roll left and 40 degrees nose down. So his instinct would have been, I don't know, try and probably roll right and pull nose up, but I think they stalled basically at that point. I don't know. Although no, the pitch attitude seems good. Well, actually no, it's even inconsistent between the standby instrument and the co-pilot's instrument, so that's weird. Anyway, mechanical gyros suck. This is one example where they sucked really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
Yeah,
you know,
and-
we spend a great deal of time with when we're putting guys through instrument training to teach them to recognize these conditions.
oh yeah, foggles on and let's go.
Exactly. Those things all need to match. If they don't match, you need to figure out very quickly which one of them is wrong. You don't have a lot of time.
Yep. Well, I
They
mean,
don't
these
make
days we
you-
have Go ahead.
They don't make you do that for like your sport license, right?
No.
No.
Okay, just
No,
checking.
if you're a VFR pilot, you don't ever have to have the foggles on.
Oh no,
But-
I'm in the process. I'm not gonna lie, it's been 3 months since I've done any flying, but I am trying. I want to get my sports license, so that's why I was
Sure.
asking. That scared me.
Right.
I was like, I'm not doing that
But
shit.
I mean, even in VFR training, you actually will do partial panel training. So the instructor will take a bunch of sticky notes, put them over to some instruments, and you basically are going to have to fly the airplane with just whatever remaining instruments you have available. So yeah, I've flown plenty of approaches and plenty of patterns with no airspeed indicator, no altitude, no attitude indicator. So it's possible, but in visual conditions, obviously.
Oh, back to what we were looking at prior. That hurt my fucking brain. I'm not gonna lie. That was too much. Oh, that was way too much.
Okay. And this is still somewhat simple stuff.
Hey, whatever you do, no one mentioned Rayleigh criterion.
Jesus.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
would you do that? For the record, Riley criteria has nothing to do with obstruction. Fuck. I was gonna ask something. That paper you showed us, that math. That's the basic math you need to know to build one.
Not quite. Well, if you want to build an inertial navigation system, yes. If you just want to build like anti-gyro, not really. It depends on what you're trying to do. That math is for initial heading alignment on the ground.
Okay. That's didn't help me. Okay.
Okay. It's not necessary if you just want to show gyroscopic precession for either Earth's rotation or the airplane moving. There's going to be other stuff that you're going to have to do there, but it's mostly going to be concerned about like the actual mechanical assembly of the system, like getting it right, getting a sufficiently low drag bearings, getting the thing very tightly balanced, getting it out nicely built, and that's not going to be easy.
So I like Montreal, and I know he made zero claims, but I feel like this is too much. Too much in the sense that, one, it's going to cost too much. Two, there's very seldom of anybody, I'd say less than a handful, excuse me, that understand what the fuck you're saying, let alone think of building one.
Yeah, it's quite easy to confuse yourself and come up with a completely bunk measurement and bunk instrument there, and then you will wasted a bunch of time.
That's what will happen. And unfortunately, you can't untangle all those motions. Not easily. You can't just ignore one. That's what the SE doesn't get.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you want to do this rigorously, right, and actually be able to analyze the results you've got, you will have to do a fair amount of mathematical analysis for you to be even able to tell what the hell's going on and what you expect to see.
Exactly.
So this is
If you
So
can't accept the fact that the Earth is rotating at 15 degrees per hour, you're
can't
screwed.
accept. Yeah, and I did ask him that. Remember, I
You
was
will not
asking
make
him.
any. You'll just end up with a bunch of data that you can make no sense out of.
Yeah, and I asked him that. I remember asking him because it was about a Bob's gyroscope, and it was being fact that he had placed it somewhere, and then I asked him what would be the actual difference between the two, because it would and that's when you guys were explaining it would actually read double in certain situations, and then I realized it's like, yeah, he doesn't accept that sitting still it worked because I think he said it didn't matter. Basically, I'm paraphrasing probably, but
Funnily enough, if he used Bob's gyro, which is a ring laser gyro, it would actually work perfectly fine in an aircraft. He would have to do the correct analysis to actually disentangle the aircraft's motion from the Earth's rotation out of it. But you could do it. But like you wouldn't have to actually necessarily buy and do a whole bunch of complicated setup, because ring laser gyros are very resistant to vibration and perturbations and stuff like that, because they're built correctly to do that. But he doesn't accept ring laser gyros as such, or fiber optic gyros even. So at that point, he's basically discounted the most obvious way to do it. So he's just looking for a more complicated way to do it.
yeah, I kind of
And
feel like this is
then,
one of those situations where it's like, just get a digital.
yeah,
Well,
and
it's the
yeah,
flat. It's the typical flat Earth approach to everything. I mean, the only type of test that they're satisfied with is one that produces results which are so nebulous they could be called either direction.
or which, yeah, preferably, yeah, one that doesn't produce a clear signal,
Right.
or preferably points in their preferred direction, in which case they'll accept those happily, unquestioningly.
But see,
But this is
I don't think that I think they don't understand that part. The part
I
where
take a I take a more skeptical view of it, honestly, Sean. I think they understand perfectly.
that it's doomed from the start.
I, I think they seek out ways to come up with tests or demonstrations that are going to be so confusing that they can claim victory no matter what.
I don't get that. I get that from some, but now I don't get that from SC from it. I don't feel like he. I feel like he doesn't. He openly doesn't understand enough about it to for that to be a game plan from it. I do see the biggest issue I see is his assuredness that the community would back it. So at that point, I don't know if it's him just playing the argument game or if he really thinks this is doable. I see what you're saying.
Well,
It,
yeah,
it,
my curiosity is simple. You build this thing, okay? We're going to build a gyro and we're going to use it to test the uh, how much uh, how much movement we see if we travel in an airplane with it for X number of miles. Okay, I've got it. I've got it sitting here. What would the first thing you'd want to know? First thing I would want to know is sitting on the disk, does it show no rotation? Does it show no change?
yeah, that's the first thing I want to see.
And if I test it and it's not showing no change, it's showing 15 degrees per hour. Now what do I do? Do I go on and run the next test? Why?
Yeah, and that was not
What's the
as
fucking
eloquent.
point?
Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't run it down the same path you did, but that was the same. Basically, what I asked him. Do you accept that it works, as we're saying it works on your table, because on your table it will. And if that is the case, what we would then the first question has to be, why?
That's right. Either it's broken or the Earth is rotating.
Yeah, and then I can see now. I see where you're coming from because at that point they throw it away and say it doesn't work.
Moreover, the ether people basically
Oh.
believe that they basically believe that there are two kinds of rotation. That there's a celestial rotation and then there's a proper rotation, proper
Wait,
frame.
stop. You got that. You're wrong. You're Totoro. You're fucking wrong. Let's get it fucking straight. There are two different celestial rotations, and then Earth's weird thing.
Sure.
Yeah. As far as I know, the way Shane explained it, which is all the Ether Boys' way of explaining it, basically, only one only explains the northern, what we see in the northern hemisphere, but what the southern hemisphere sees is the second, which is separate from the first one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And they basically want to say that. Well, I mean, they could literally just say, "Oh no, your gyro is just affected by the southern celestial rotation. That's all. You didn't do it right." And there you go. All your effort is dismissed.
All of it.
Which is why I say, which is why I think that the the Antarctic experiment, the 24-hour sun, is much better because it's really obvious. Yes, it's expensive, but it is straightforward to do, and it's really obvious about what the result is.
Which brings me to the next topic. Holy shit, is there a divide in flat Earth or fucking what? There is a lot of people that are like, flat Earth is fucked. A lot more flat Earthers than I thought would say it are saying that if there's a 24-hour sun, it can't be flat. I thought they would all go along the whole we'll have to rethink it thing, because that's what I got a lot of people saying from the beginning of it. But now there's a lot more Jaren bandwagoners than I expected it to be. With that also being said, I think the days of nice innocent Duffy are done. I think that last interview you had pushed him over. He's going to be an asshole from now on, I think. And that's just a smidget of all the other drama that's going on around that crap. I hope he goes. If he doesn't go, you know everything's fucked, right? This is going to be ridiculous. Not him goes, it happened. Because now we're in that, if this is obviously speculation, we're in that if history is going to doom to repeat. What the hell is that saying? If history is going to fail to repeat, or I don't know. If this happens again,
if we are doomed to repeat history.
Thank you.
Yeah, those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Thank you. Yeah, both those work beautifully. We're in those the months coming to it where it will either just disappear like it never happened, or it will get serious. Because I said this during the interview that I had with him. I questioned it. There's a fucking deadline. This shit cannot keep going until November without any conclusion of who's going and what's going to happen. And it's going to be very disappointing. It's going to give fucking Flat Earth a lot of fucking ammunition if that is the case. Just saying. Can you guys hear me? Are we doing this thing again?
Yep.
Okay, just checking. Yep. I had problems earlier, so I wanted to make sure.
I think Professor Dave pointed one out. Just so they see the 24-hour sun and okay, we were wrong. We had that bit wrong. It is a sphere. Enter heliocentrism or what is it, geocentrism? Because Whitson's going along that line right now, I've noticed. So I reckon geocentrism will kind of flip its way in.
But see,
well, at least they'll be only 400 years out of date instead of 2,500 years out of date. But that's a 2,000-year advancement.
Yeah, but
That's
the
in
problem
advance. That's a good call.
is
Thank you for that one. I didn't know that.
yeah, but here's the problem. That's Witsit's go-to. You're hot micing, Gary. If unless you were gonna say something. If you're gonna say something, you can unmic it. I'll give you the floor.
Oh, I was going to, but it kind of passed by. So,
I
I was just gonna
apologize.
say Alex Stein is that Tim Pool is he's like a YouTuber. I don't know what he is actually, podcaster, but he's offering to pay Alex Stein's way to
Ooh.
Same place as Jaron, possibly at the same time.
Wait. Is he sent? He
Tim
is it?
Pool,
Uh huh.
you know Alex Stein. He used to run around with Jaron and all those guys, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then he went off to the Blaze or whatever. Got his own thing going now.
Okay.
But he was on that Tim Pool show, and that Tim Pool offered to pay his way to Antarctica.
Ooh. And what did he say?
I don't know. I just caught at the end of it, so I didn't hear the whole thing. So
Well, I don't think I've ever asked you, Gary. If there is a 24-hour sun, is flat Earth still possible to you?
no one's gonna go. The whole thing's gonna fall apart, and we should just send some of the Globies.
Wait,
You
hang
guys
on,
can go.
Gary.
That's
Hang on,
not what he
Gary.
asked.
Yeah, hang on.
I don't care. I don't have to answer a theoretical question that hasn't been.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
ridiculous. That's
You
like what would
answer.
I say to you, Sean? If it turns out there isn't a 24-hour sun, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
You
it
don't have to
destroy.
answer that.
I would love to answer. It will completely destroy our model, our understanding of physics, our understanding. Period. We wouldn't
No,
have a
actually,
globe model.
it wouldn't destroy your model.
Oh, it would.
If it wasn't a 24-hour sun, it wouldn't destroy your model completely.
Yes, it would.
Yes, it
No, it
would.
wouldn't.
Yeah,
No.
probably would.
It would
No,
discount
it would,
our
it would
season.
still fit. It would still fit just having a long day. Sun's in
No.
the south.
No,
Nope,
if the
it
sun
wouldn't
set in December,
because
then
yeah,
the globe is
I
done.
know. No,
our
actually,
model.
it wouldn't be.
Our model dictates that happens. So if it doesn't happen, then our model is wrong. And here's the thing, and this is why I became a Glober, because, and this is very important that you understand, and everyone listening understands. With that model, I want you to understand, we have given one example, just fucking one, that if it's wrong, it destroys our whole model. The reason for that is because all these observations and data that is applied to a model, they have to work together. It's a model. It's a working reality system. So if that one aspect of our model falls apart, 1,000 different aspects fall apart because of that one thing,
Well,
and then 1,000 more things fall apart because those things fell apart.
you already have a bunch of them that fell apart.
Like what?
Oh, like the EQ mount can track 15 degrees from horizon to horizon, which isn't true.
I know.
That
For
they-
hang
that-
on, Gary. Let's
that-
do.
I
Gary,
want to
I wanna do one on one. I want to do one at a time.
I don't
though,
have.
Gary.
I got to get back to work, so
Okay.
I'm not going to be able to sit there and keep talking. I just want
Okay.
to quick rattle off a couple.
Yeah.
So you got
Go ahead.
the equinox where you guys claim that the sun rose at 90 and set for 270 on everybody on Earth on the same day. That's not true either. I used to say that pilots had to figure out all their flight plans, including the Coriolis effect, but now we know that's not true. They can't even isolate it. They can just pretend it's there. So we know that's true.
So it's classic.
We know that
flat
the stars will follow the same path across the sky every 23 hours, 56 minutes, 4.1 seconds, and they do it year after year after year after year, which means we're not orbiting anything. We're not going around the sun, nor are we chasing the sun through space.
Do you have anything other than straw man?
Hang on.
Those are straw man.
Hang on.
You want
Keep
And
going.
we got the horizon. The last one, we got the horizon. The
You just
horizon
want
is
to shotgun a bunch of topics now.
I know. No, it's fine. Hang on, Gary. 1 second. That's fine. I don't mind. I'm right now literally making a list of the different things he says because he has to go and he has things to do.
Okay.
So
I can listen. I just can't. I gotta keep busy, and I can't sit there and mute, unmute.
No, I get it. But I'll respond to a few of the ones that you said. Okay. For the EQ mount one, I wish I had it saved on this computer. Stingray shows a very wonderful example of how EQ mount works, how it works on a globe, how it works on a flat Earth, how it works at anywhere below 15 degrees on a globe.
You mean above?
No, within.
I have that.
No, he did it both because the main thing he wanted to show was the precession of the EQ when the star is on the other side. And then he wanted to show what happens with that same star when it rotates and does the same observed path on a flat Earth, and it just goes all wonky. And then what he wanted to show was the reason why astronomers don't look below 15 is because when an EQ mount is looking below 15 with the refraction, it's not pinpointing the exact star. So what happens is it gets kind of wonky and it can't really trace itself correctly. There are.
Yeah, I made a simple video on that.
Oh, okay.
If the stars are moving parallel to the plane of the Earth, that's what you would expect to happen there because the angles are foreshortened. And so it's no different than an airplane that's flying high and far away. When it flies directly overhead, it looks like it's moving pretty fast. Off of the distance, it looks like it's barely moving. It's the same with the star, the sun, the moon, anything moving towards the horizon. The tracker will start to fail because the tracker is arcing down because it's pretending like it's going over a curve when it's not. It's moving away. And so that it just sits there in the sky hanging up there. You guys call it refraction. I call it compression.
But with the EQ mount on a globe, and this is because I don't have
fails.
one, on a simulator, no, it doesn't. It doesn't fail at all.
It failed. It failed near the horizon. Even Bob said it starts.
Oh yeah.
Bob said it starts failing at 30 degrees above the horizon.
Yeah, you're right. And I even spoke to that part. That is the situation where between anything under 15 in the horizon, between 15 in the horizon, the refractive layer is so turbulent that it basically the EQ mount can't get a fix on what it's looking at or what it's tracking.
So I'm correct in saying that it can't track anything from horizon to horizon.
No, it can't.
Which used to be the globe claim because that's Wolfie used to claim it all the time, and all those guys used to claim it all the time. They don't do it anymore. They don't claim 90 degree, 270 degree equinox rising and setting points for everybody on Earth on the same day anymore. They used to do a video on this every year. Now they don't.
Gary, here's the problem with your argument and why. We'll use this. We're going to use the sun for this because we has an obvious horizon set. When that sun rises and it's at the horizon, and I get a fix. Let's say I now get a fix. Once it reaches above, my EQ mount is accurately, confidently tracking it. Now understand this: when it does its arc and it gets now at the end of the day sunset, and now it hits that 15 degrees, the EQ mount doesn't flip the fuck out constantly. It tries to find it within that 15 degrees. Now here's where the problem starts. That would happen on an EQ mount, which you're saying would happen on an EQ mount always, because any star that was in that range would stay in that range. But that's not what happens, because when the sun actually sets and we can't see it anymore, that EQ mount suddenly becomes real accurate and rigid again and keeps following that sun until the same problem happens again. But in that little window,
that's incorrect.
That's not in that little window.
That is incorrect. The EQ mount is just set at 50. If you just set it at 15 degrees, it's going to move at 15 degrees. It's not looking for anything. It's not trying to find something. It's just just arcing at 15 degrees, and it's going to fail.
Again,
no.
Again, not. that band, the band that's within that 15 to horizon, we understand why that happens. The problem is the sun. The reason I said the sun specifically is because in our observation, we know that the sun is above that 15 and below the horizon, essentially, in our observation. So what that means is that the EQ mount will track the sun, get to that 15, try to figure out if it's actually seeing what it's seeing. But once the sun goes away and dips beyond the horizon, the EQ mount starts tracking perfectly again. What is it tracking?
Again, the EQ mount, once again, the EQ mount isn't seeing anything unless you've got a camera
tracking.
That's actually tracking the actual object. Because
that's what an EQ mount does.
No. The regular EQ mount that you guys always claimed, it just was motorized. It just had a 15-degree tracking rate, and it just went 15 degrees from side to side. So
it's tracking. No, it's tracking a coordinate system. So if you have a coordinate system on the star, it tracks that.
And it was failing. Sean, remember that Gary's never actually used any of these mounts, so he's talking about
It doesn't matter. I can find this on
Yeah, but you're arguing from ignorance, man.
Bob's YouTube.
Well, see,
They all
that's
say the same thing. It falters near the
yeah.
horizon.
No, Gary. Okay, I'm going to do this one last time,
Yeah.
Gary. I'll do it one last time. What you are saying is correct. The problem with what you're saying is that if an EQ mount is set up and it's tracking a star, the sun, because an EQ mount, you don't just set it at one spot and then it just goes in circles and you see whatever you see. An EQ mount is set up to be able to set up a system onto it and hit a coordinate system and track that coordinate system. So when you're talking about that, so okay, yeah. So when you're talking about that,
because
the
they're
low,
not tracking the sky
hang
at
on,
15 degrees
hang on.
per hour.
When you're
And
talking
a
about that,
constant 15
Gary, I'm not done. When you're talking about that 15, the 15 degrees, and then to the horizon, that EQ mount is passing through that. It's not staying in it. So that
I know
15,
it's arcing down,
perfect.
but the star or the sun. Well, you're talking to the sun in particular.
The sun.
The sun is not arcing down. The sun is moving away, and therefore it's still in the sky while your EQ mount is pointing down below the horizon.
Yeah. Then what is it tracking? And then what is it
It's
tracking?
not tracking anything. It was just set on
fine. How again? Here's the problem with that, Gary, because an EQ mount will track it, and when it comes back, it will be still tracking that sun. The next question. Yeah. Now, Gary, dude, I don't want to do this, Gary. Gary, I'm gonna mute you if I can't finish. I got to be able to finish what I'm saying.
Okay, well, you just had Earth for Life interrupt.
I
didn't say shit to him just now.
I literally didn't hear him. Otherwise, I would have.
Well, because he started interrupting, I just started.
Gary, enough. Time. Just say what you want to say.
Oh, calm down, chill. I already said even the sun.
Nope, I don't care, Gary. I want to make this very clear. I don't give a fuck if you're globe. I don't give a fuck if you're flat. It's my fucking panel, so it's gonna be my way. My way is one person talks, another person talks. We don't play that fucking shit show shit here. I don't like it. It's not going to happen. I'd rather have no one on my panel if you can't understand that, Gary. I don't give a fuck. This is not any other servers where that shit just gets tolerated. And I just will say, fuck it. I don't care. One redeeming quality I have, Gary, is I can talk to myself for hours on end. I don't need fucking people here. So that kind of makes it so you guys have to adhere to my shit. Respect it or don't.
I'm sorry, Sean. Were you talking to us or you?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Hey, Sean, really quick. I actually had a video of a guy tracking the sun for more than 24 hours. And it literally, when the sun goes down below the horizon, it's pointing at the ground. And then when the sun rises again, it's continuing to track the sun.
Yeah.
And I've shown this to Gary multiple times, but of course, every time we get into these conversations, he can't pay attention to the live chat to even look at it.
Yeah. And it being a fixed path that the EQ mount would be on, the reason we know that's not true is because there are people that use these EQ mounts and these trackers, and they track the precession of the sun throughout the year. Like it does change its azimuth. Like these are things that change, so that it's not just a constant, always happening thing. More importantly, if the sun, and Stingray showed this in his 3D, you probably should watch it. If you move the sun backwards or you move the sun away from the EQ mount, guess what the EQ mount does? This is revolutionary. Ready? Nothing. It just points and it stays right there. It doesn't move. It doesn't do anything except for just stay fixed on the object, moving further away from it. The EQ mounts don't work that way. They don't work that way. No one's observed them working that way. So the idea that the sun does that and the EQ mount is just fixed on some rotation of its own is ridiculous, because they track stars. The fact that the EQ mount on the system you can type in coordinate systems and that EQ mount will find that coordinate system, i.e. that star, whatever star it wants to look at, is enough to show you that it's tracking something. It's not just on a fixed orbit or a fixed rotation. It can't be on a fixed rotation, otherwise you can't track anything.
Actually, once you said it, it is on a fixed.
No,
unless you're using a camera tracker that actually tracks by sight. If you're just setting it on 15 degrees, I'm sorry, it's going to be off the next day because the sun moves over by about a half a degree every day on the horizon.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so so it's going to be off. It's not going to be centered anymore. And the sun doesn't move at 15 degrees per hour. That's an average mean.
By how much is it going to be off the next day?
You can just figure out. Just start looking at solar noon to solar noon times and see how the difference is. Yeah. It's not going to track evenly because it doesn't move at 15 degrees an hour.
Oh, no.
Our
It would
days
track.
are based on 24 hours, which is a solar mean. It's not it's more like an average.
So
it's not 15 degrees per day. So that means your tracker will fail if it's just set at 15 degrees per hour. It's going to be off center the next day. If it goes all the way around, and at the horizon, it's going to falter behind.
By how much?
Because the tracker. I don't know. If the sun moves over a half a degree, then we'll call it a half a degree.
Have you
because it's just designed to track that same track again.
Gary, have you tested this? You said it's going
to be but we know the sun moves over, don't we? Okay. We know that tomorrow the sun will move. It's moving more south right now. So tomorrow the sun will be about a half a degree over a little bit more south on when it rises than it was today.
I don't think that has anything to do with the rotation, though, does it?
It has to do with your tracker.
No,
that's why I said you can't track it. No, your tracker is once you set it up, it's going to track the same track over and over and over again. But the sun's not going to be there the next day in the same exact spot. Now you might get away with it in December and June because it kind of has a tendency to stay in the same spot. Hold on, I'm not done. I'm not done. You interrupted me. Now, Sean, can you get on him?
Let him finish.
I know because you don't ever stop talking to let anybody respond.
Well, no, sometimes you got to finish the thought.
Okay,
and
45 seconds.
Times of the year where it might work because around in December and in June, around solstices, the sun has a tendency to stay pretty much rise in the same spot and set in the same spot for about 3 weeks, close to 4 weeks. Where it rises and sets, crosses the same point of the sky every day. Which I guess it's taking a pit stop from its orbit around the sun then.
Okay. If you track it for 24 hours, right? Or let's say you track it for 1 day, how far off is it going to be the next day?
The next day, if you keep it tracking, it's going to be off by at least a half a degree sideways, horizontally. And depending on what time of year and when you're tracking it, it's going to be off on the time.
So
because the sun doesn't move at 15 degrees per hour. A half a degree horizontally, and you're going to be somewhat off, maybe a half a degree. I don't know.
But the sun is basically still going to be in the center of the frame, though, right?
No. It's going to move off. If you have it in the center of the frame starting the 1 day, by the next day, it's not going to be even close to the center of your frame.
Okay. Are you sure about that?
Yep. Not unless you're using a camera tracker.
Okay.
That actually takes pictures and tracks that way. But if you just set it on a 15 degree, you set it for your latitude, longitude, whatever. You set it and set it on course 15 degrees per hour. It's going to be off the next day.
Okay.
It's going to be off by the end of the day.
Gary, have you tested this?
You can watch it. You can watch Wolfie's videos. Wolfie has to keep adjusting his camera when he's tracking the sun.
Gary, is it
yes in a center frame.
I don't want to refer to anybody else.
It doesn't matter if I do. Have you tried it, Sean? D-ball?
No, I haven't.
So you're just going to say no unless I've done it.
I don't know, because you're making a positive claim that it won't.
Oh shit! Hang on! Stop! Everyone, stop! Oh, this is so beautiful. Look what I found.
Prove me wrong.
Look what I found.
Let me see.
Oh, it's perfect. It's an equatorial mount simulator.
Okay, a simulator's not the same thing.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, so now I can't use a simulator, Gary?
Come on, it's not.
Why is it not the same thing, Gary?
It's not. Set it on 15 degrees. A continuous 15 degrees.
So what if they set it to the... Okay, so maybe it's not exactly... Like, maybe it's 15 point what? 0.12, 0.01, whatever? Go ahead.
Once I can actually explain why this is happening, but whatever.
Oh,
Sidereal,
back
is it
everybody else.
sidereal rotation?
I think I'm doing it wrong.
Move action.
Yeah,
Is it
backspace and type in 15. There you go.
so?
There you
So,
go.
Toro, are you talking about sidereal rotation?
Punch your
The problem basically with the sun is it's going to drift by about a degree in the sky, and that's normal. That's just it going through. Well, classically, it's called going through the zodiac. It's just over. Normally, these equatorial amounts, when you're tracking at 15.04 degrees per hour,
Okay,
what you're trying to
0.04.
do is you're trying to track the stars, which do not move with respect to the zodiac. It's essentially a fixed background. But the
Okay.
sun, obviously, the Earth rotates around the sun, so it's going to do a 360 in a year around you, basically. So it's going to
Right.
drift through the sky. That's why your equatorial amount, if you want to track the sun, you need to adjust its tracking rate to compensate for the Earth's motion around the sun.
Ah, okay. So it's
And
okay.
even
So
if you set it
that
on
makes
and
sense.
even if you set it on a consistent rate, let's say you put it for 15.1 or 14.9 or something. Even if you set it and and it consistent just moves at that degree from one horizon to the other, it's still going to get off, even if you've adjusted the regular tracking rate, because you have the compression effect that I keep telling you about.
Hang on,
I
hang
made
on.
a video on showing why it will
How
do it,
are
why it actually would predict it to do what I'm saying it'll do.
so Gary, how are people able to make these long time lapses of stars if it can't track?
It's a long time. A time lapse is just holding a camera still. We're talking about
Yeah, but
tracking with a new zoom out. That's not a time lapse. That's not the time lapse like a star rotation type deal.
yeah, but it's
We're
fixed
talking
on one
about
star.
tracking. We're talking about track. You fix on one star, it's still
Oh,
going to
fuck, I
fail
got
at
the
the
right one.
horizon. Even if you set it at 15.04, it's
Why
going to
does it
still
fail
fail at the horizon.
Why does it fail at the horizon?
I feel
For
like
the
I
exact
fucked this
reason I
up.
said, because they're moving parallel to the plane. So everything that moves far
No, I think
away,
it's because
the
it's refracting the atmosphere.
distance it travels in the sky takes long. It covers it in the same amount of time, but it's compressed into your field of
I
view.
don't know.
And that's
I
why
think it's because
I wrote it all out. I diagrammed it and everything. I even gave the measurements in my
I
video.
think
Oh,
it's
this is
And
I think it's
chaos.
because
Gary,
the
hang
sky
on.
moving parallel to the plane of the
Stop,
Earth through
stop,
distance
Hang on,
stop,
Gary.
stop. Gary, stop with the long rants. Just make it a conversation. If you can't, it's going to be a problem because I'm trying to show shit. I'm trying to ask if someone can help me do this so we can actually use it. And you're just doing minute diatribes about a long thing. Please have a conversation.
Well, because they keep
Please.
asking the same questions, I have to keep answering the same way because I'm not going to change. What I'm saying is correct. Everything in the sky moves parallel to the plane, so everything off of the distance is going to take longer. It's going to appear to sit practically still a lot of times when it's far in the distance, just like an airplane high in the sky. And that's exactly why the EQ mount will fail over the long run. 15 degrees directly over my head, an airplane, you track it over 15 degrees of sky directly overhead, it goes pretty quick through that. 15 degrees of sky in the distance, what you think is 15 degrees on your protractor, it's still sitting there. It's because it's moving the same distance at the same rate, except for it's compressed into a smaller space, visual space.
I think you're just
Would this
you're
be a good
understanding.
time for you?
That's the same foreshortening why you see a horizon. It's the exact same reason why.
I see
Would
what
this
the
be a
problem
good
is.
time for me to say bullshit?
Yeah.
Well, you
Gary,
always say bullshit because that's all you
Gary-
got. You use
Gary, you say you wrote it out, so go ahead and post what you wrote out, and we can
Okay, well,
analyze
you
it.
gotta wait a few minutes because I'm
Yeah,
in
he
the
won't be
middle
able
of some
to
stuff.
right now.
I'm actually working.
Well, at your leisure, could you please post it somewhere?
Yeah, probably within 5 minutes, you probably should have it on there.
Yeah, Gary, didn't you have to go do something?
Yeah, I
Are
think
you
so.
procrastinating?
He is.
Oh man, you're pulling
I-
a me.
I don't know how to use this. Maybe someone else will be able to figure it out.
I
I'm too
think
stupid
we
for
pretty
it.
well understand why refraction increases as you get close to the horizon.
Yes.
I think that's pretty well understood.
Mm-hmm.
Insignificant. Compression is significant.
No, compression bullshit. Here.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
Things
it is.
compress into smaller visual spaces with distance,
Bullshit.
and your angles become more acute. Yes, it does, and we all see it.
Gary, you can't even divide two numbers.
It's the same. It's the same reason why railroad tracks look like they're converging. It's all the same reason. Compression.
The problem, hang on. Here's the biggest
Acute
problem with what you're
visual
saying.
angle.
Gary, hang on. What the problem with what you're saying.
shortening.
Jesus fucking Christ, I have to do this. I don't want to do this, Gary. Jesus Christ, man. It'd be one thing if you just stopped when asked to, but you don't. The biggest issue with what you're saying right now with this whole compression shit is if you want to take a picture, make a video, just look. maybe you have an argument for why things look a certain way of compression. But when you're talking about a fucking EQ mount tracking a star, compression has nothing to do with this conversation at all. Perspective has nothing to do with this conversation at all.
Do it tomorrow, Sean. Sunrise, check it.
Didn't
what
even
degree
hear
the
one
sky
word
is
I
at,
fucking said.
the azimuth, all that kind of stuff. Check all that. Check an hour later. See how many degrees it moved. Check another hour later. See how many degrees it's moved. Check another hour later. Not the same.
Not one word.
It'll be more like 9 or 10 near the horizon. The next hour, it's probably about 10 or 11. Then it starts getting up to like 15 or 16. Then it gets over 20.
So nothing
And then it
to
starts
answer.
going back down.
So
That's
there's
more
nothing to
bullshit,
answer.
Bullshit,
Gary.
buddy.
Yeah. So you're
No,
not
Total
check time of
answering.
day.
bullshit.
You're literally
time of
not
day.
answering.
Total
You're not
bullshit.
answering to the reality of this
So I'm
conversation.
saying why it's not what you guys think.
It's not going to work.
I'll
I
bet
don't-
you $1,000 right now
Alright,
that you
now-
can't show us anything
I'm
moving
done.
20 degrees an hour.
He won't. He's not going to show it. I'm not willing to do this anymore. He's not going to have a conversation, and it's giving my ears a fucking headache. All right, Gary. Well, that's it for the day. For Gary, I'm not done. But I can't do that. I don't like the chaos here. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be amped up. Let me take a small hit.
I
of
think
my pipe.
Fe Dogma made a really good video about this where he tracked it and then showed it at 15 degrees per hour.
Yeah, there's also going to be, if you correct for the Earth's rotation around the sun, you will get an equatorial mount to track the sun pretty closely. There will still be a slight wobble in a sinusoidal pattern, like time-wise, because the Earth's orbit is not exactly circular. So there's a slightly elliptical component, which is going to cause the Earth to speed up and slow down in certain parts of the orbit a little bit. It's a fairly well-known harmonic oscillation of speed, and that's going to change the tracking speed very minutely.
Was
So
it-
if you just
so-
had an equatorial mount that was perfect, then it would just slightly wobble about it over the course of a year in your viewfinder.
I wish I knew how to use it better, but that simulator I was just had up, it's pretty badass. I don't think it's as good as Stingray's, but it's fucking good. I'm gonna figure out how to use it.
And yeah, that video by Fe Dogma, you can't get the sun behaving as you would need for a flat plane, because over time the rate of angle change is going to change in a very different manner compared to if you were looking at a flat plane that was just going off into infinity.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't go off into infinity if hang on, volume has tanked. Wait, no one can hear me on YouTube now?
Oh, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. I think he was talking about the chaos that just happened. Okay, so this is just follow me. So the gyroscope simulation, remember that I brought up a little while ago? An EQ mount would do that if the sun was rotating above us. At no point would it even get to that 15. It'd become a dot first, most likely. But more importantly, that tracker wouldn't track the ground. It would just stay in the sky. It would just stay looking up in the sky the whole time.
Yeah, it would never look at the ground. Yeah, that's why I was trying to find that video where the guy was tracking the sun, and it literally starts pointing at the ground, and then when the sun rose again, it was still pointing at the sun for like a day and a half, I think.
I think
Also-
Wolfie did that.
Yeah, I've seen
Did Wolfie do that?
I've seen a couple of people. There are, like, that's the weird part about this conversation. The EQ mount thing is almost never brought up because of this.
Also, Sean, you want to make sure that you distinguish between a mount which is dumb and one which is computerized. A computerized mount might be able to, if you tell what you're trying to track, and especially if it has an optical tracker, then it will adjust. But a dumb mount, which is just set up in alignment with Earth's axis and then just set it to run, will not compensate for any, like, if you have any kind of refractive effect in your horizon, that's not going to be compensated for.
Oh yeah, it's just going to bounce through it, or it's just going to observe through it.
That just
Yeah,
turns at a constant rate.
Yeah, it's got to slightly deviate out of your viewfinder at the end of tracking when you get to the horizon.
Well, what's that one used for then? Just to observe? Not.
I mean, it's still good enough at sufficiently high elevations above the ground, right, or
Oh,
above the horizon where there's no
okay.
refractive effects, or not
Oh,
enough to matter.
most people involved with astronomy don't try to look at anything that's within 15 degrees of the horizon.
Yeah, generally you've got a bunch of crap and
Yeah,
haze and weather in that.
yeah. The lower you look, the more atmosphere you're looking through. That's obvious. So 15 degrees is about it. They don't really go any lower than that normally.
And that'd just be like the same effect of like the best thing to do, and this is just the layman version of this. If you're like over a creek and you're fishing, obviously directly above it is going to be the best view, right? You're going to have a clear shot, right? The closer to the side you get, like go towards the shore, the ground, lower to the water level, that refraction is going to kick up. That's the same thing. Same thing. It's not that it's not happening. It's not real. It's not that they can't track it. It passes through it is the most important thing. And I get that I was talking about a different system, but that the tracking systems on those EQ mounts, it literally just takes away from any EQ mount conversation and what things do.
And if you're talking about a computerized mount, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I would use, because the main point of it is I need to track a star for 24 hours.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to basically make it a simple case, but if it is a dumb mount which doesn't have any computer on it, it's literally just essentially a clock, to be honest, mechanical clock, then it's not going to compensate for any additional effects, and you have to set it up correctly manually.
That seems boring.
But they will track stars perfectly.
Yes, it will track stars very, very closely, provided you don't get very close to the horizon to where refractive effects are going to cause a bunch of crap.
Yeah, if you've got it aligned properly.
So a whole lot more effort. Why does everyone want to do stuff that takes more effort? Doesn't even make sense to me.
Yep.
Well, the idea is that it's fun if you work it out yourself. If you just push a button, that's boring.
It is fun, but the problem is if you're not willing to put in the effort to understand what is fun, then it just becomes chaos fun, and chaos fun gets nowhere.
Well, I mean, obviously people that use equatorial mounts correctly, and especially non-computerized ones, will usually spend the effort to try and learn how to use them correctly.
Well, even a computerized mount has got to be properly aligned.
These days, I mean, some of the sophisticated ones have GPS on them, so you literally just set the thing up, it'll auto-level, it'll figure out which way is north, and then it'll acquire its own GPS coordinates, and you literally just type in the star name, and it'll salute right to the target.
There you go. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That sounds amazing. So
cheating and boring.
What? Cheating. Yeah, you equation nerds need to relax. You're from now on, Blue and Totoro, you guys are my equation team.
Oh my.
Oh, don't worry. It won't be anything complicated because I have to know it's the equation first. No.
Oh.
Nope. Gary doesn't know how to have a conversation. I want conversations here. There are plenty of places he can go to do that. I will not sell my stream morals for nobody.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for. Okay. Oh, I'm about to fucking end it anyway. I've been going for almost 4 hours total. So.
Well, see you later.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for joining. Always appreciated. Thank you. Definitely appreciate it. I got a lot more questions for him. He's a smart dude. He's scary smart. I got to make sure he gets on the right side of the globe. What I mean is I believe he's like Red's rhetoric fight the flat Earth side, and so he really holds back here. I could tell. I appreciate it, but he definitely holds back. But I'm gonna make a nice globe out of him yet. It's gonna be fun. But
We
but
all try
I
to be nice.
you have your
No,
moments.
we try to be nice.
You're overall a very chill glober, but you have your moments. Like you have your
I
moments
mean, like,
lately.
I'm the type of person where if you give me information, if you give me evidence for something, I'm gonna change my position.
Hmm?
Right? That's what people should be doing. But with all the information that's been given, like you want to stay stuck with the same shit we've been telling you you're wrong about for this entire time.
But I told you this a
And
long
that's
time
what's
ago,
making me
B-Ball. But I told you a long time ago. You need to stop arguing with like in this example. You need to stop arguing to change Gary's mind and just give the information out so that people watching it that don't understand it. Because you're
yeah,
never
I do that.
ever but then you shouldn't then you can never get angry at him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do that. I give me information, but
And then there's the other side of it.
I'm stubborn,
There comes a
very
certain
stubborn.
point. Yeah, oh fuck yeah. There comes a certain point where you have to just server mute him. Stop talking to him.
Oh
Trust
yeah,
me, there are so many flat earthers that I could have on this live stream. I can go into a debate within an hour because they want to, but I would never do it with them because I know the type of person and that they are when they debate or in general, and I'm just not willing to. I won't
yeah.
ever. This is not one of them, but I won't engage with Witsit. Why would I do that? There's no point in engaging with him. But then there's people that just love to do it, regardless. Like they know what he's about, they know what he's gonna do, they have to do it anyway. And I'm just not one of those people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as hell not one of those people
I've
here.
I chased him down a few times, but he doesn't want to talk to me
Witsit?
anymore. Yeah.
Why? You're not gonna
Well,
get anywhere with him.
I don't know. No, but I mean, specifically about the flights thing, I've chased him
Hmm.
down, but he won't. He refuses to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, well, it's very few and far between the flat earthers that are actually willing to have the conversations about these things. Um, that's why I do appreciate like SC Montreal. I've always liked him. He has a cool way of
Yeah.
having these discussions. Um, I think he's been in it long enough that he knows how to do it and he knows how to do it right. Whereas in Gary just doesn't care. Gary just chaoses it. He likes chaos. Um,
Yeah.
so like I said, that's why I like giving SE the floor. Um, I don't like the shit show part of it because I need to hear these things. I need to hear how these people think. And more importantly, they ask the questions that make people like Totoro or Blue speak up about them, so I get to understand them a little bit. And
Right.
it's fucking difficult to do that when you have a chaos.
I
Um, I would have loved to have talked
I
about the
had a
EQ mounts
conversation.
more. Go ahead.
I had a conversation with SE like a few weeks ago about his claim about I'm not sure if did I tell you about it about the JWST.
Yes. Uh, I know about it. Refresh. I don't know specific.
So he likes to bring up the JWST, right? The findings from the James Webb Space Telescope, and how it's finding all these things that we didn't previously know about, dark matter, dark energy, and he likes to use that and against the heliocentric model. And I'm like, well, how are you using this, you know, as evidence against the heliocentric model when you don't even believe that space exists or you don't even believe that satellites exist?
Yeah,
That was my whole
that's
point.
well. He did, and again, there are key things that you got to listen for that he does, and he does that on purpose. It was the same thing when I asked him about the gyroscope and the rotation. That's why he doesn't want to talk about it. He does understand. He has to acknowledge those things. Um, that's why he starts off with in your model, um, which you guys say, what you guys think. Um, if I was having that conversation, like there are certain conversations I won't have conversations with him about, or there are certain things I won't have a conversation with SE about. Um, James Webb is one of them, mainly because uh, for his argument to be an argument, he must first acknowledge to me that it is a satellite in space right now.
Right.
But he won't.
Yeah.
So when if that comes up, that needs to be the first thing. Let's acknowledge that part first, and then if it is just I'm playing the part of if it was a globe, if space was real, then it's not even a conversation. Don't waste your time.
Yeah. Well, if you're using this as evidence of something, okay, well, how do you know where's the information coming from?
Yeah, it has to be coming from somewhere.
We're finding out all these things. We're finding out all these things about the universe that we didn't previously know. Where is this information coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I am going to get out of here. I'm getting hungry, and I have today's the longest I've streamed for almost. Oh, it's not even that long. I thought it was a lot longer. I think about 3.5 hours.
What, like 2 hours, 3 hours?
3 hours. I'm telling you right now, BYOT, there will not be any of those 5 hour long, 6 hour streams ever again. If it does, I'll keep it real. If it happens, it will happen. It'll be like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I'm not tired, and I'm fucking gonna drink or smoke or something, and just bullshit. That's the only way that would happen.
Like a full panel, like a full house of people talking about stuff. Yeah, keep it rolling, man.
Like I do that. I'd probably go over to the MMM, Medicinal Mass Media Discord server. Link in the description. I probably would do that. Like take the stream over to that panel if Marty's not there, and just BS for a while.
Well, he's not there right now.
I know.
Where's
the fuck?
Real? What's his name? Real Anders? Real something?
Oh, he's still there.
I'd love for him to jump in.
Wait, who?
I haven't got a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, I've never talked to him. I heard about him. I heard about what happened. But
he's
as far as
earther.
From where is he from? He's from? What I get, he's a 24/7 flat earther.
Probably.
Because they're the only ones that talk about religion, and are super religious.
He's super religious. Yep.
I know he's been around. He's been around a while, and he's in every fucking flat earth server.
Was his name different at one point?
I don't know. Just if you look at his profile, you can see he's in all the servers. More importantly, he's in all the flat earth servers that'd be like what you would deem religious flat earthers. He's like a religious flat earther mixed with a tinge of Oakley.
No, he's a meme earther. I mean,
no, then he's probably QE Oakley. They love that shit.
But the way he is in voice chat, I mean, is way different than the way he is in the text chat.
I heard he's a complete asshole in voice chat, like complete asshole.
Oh, now, I couldn't really. Well, the Demon's last upload was kind of fucked up, so I couldn't really hear most of it. It was like the audio was really fucked up. Like every other second, it was like cutting out. So I didn't really.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him. I don't know if I want to. My aggravation level, my tolerance has gone down. So who I talk to on the flat earth side will be minimal probably. Which brings me to my next point. I'm gonna start doing a lot more less flat earth stuff, because this is some stuff I wanted to talk about the other day that I completely fucking forgot about because we were engulfed in fucking flat earth. But or it was more engulfed in the whole Duffy crap that was going on. What else was there? Can't think of anything else I wanted to talk about. I'm fucking pretty hungry right now, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys. You guys want to say anything before you dip out? You like a 30-second say something?
I'm still working on a video. Hopefully I can get it done within the next week. And then after that, my next video will be specifically about the final experiment. So I don't know. Hopefully I've been procrastinating, so hopefully I can try and get these done. But that's
Nice. Booma?
Oh, no, just it was really good to see a few heads in here. And I saw Blue and SC, and I thought, that's going to be awesome. And I just come straight over to listen and see what was going down, because I thought, this will be fucking good. And it was. Well done, Sean.
Yep,
good work, man.
Yep, absolutely. thank you for joining. Tex, I'm not sure if you're busy or not. I wanted to.
It's Taco Tuesday. Make sure you get tacos.
Fuck yeah. That's a. Oh, I think I might do that right now. Fuck.
And my son works at Taco Bell. So yeah.
Oh, fucking Taco Bell's so gross. Big Blue, you got anything?
I just had my tacos, so I'm all set.
Oh, cool. Thank you, sir. Definitely appreciate you here as usual. CYG, I know you're not going to say anything, but I do appreciate you being here as well. And everybody in the chat that stuck around for the, I don't even know what happened. Tex, when we get down out, we got to talk because something happened. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know what to blame.
Oh.
Okay, so we'll talk in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and deafen out of here so I can do a little 2-second rant, and then I'll be up. See you guys either here or at the MMM.
Yep.
All right, let me get rid of this and this and that. Okay, so thank you guys. I do appreciate it. Again, I don't really understand what happened to the first stream. I had some technical difficulties that I don't really know what to blame it on. It was pretty weird, but we got the second stream going, so thank you for coming back if you did. I'm gonna look for some more simulators. I really like be able to try to use those things to understand these conversations a little bit better because as you probably noticed that I don't really understand gyroscopes that much. I don't really understand EQ mounts that much, but I did find simulators for them that I want to understand and figure them out. So the next few streams will probably have a lot to do with the gyroscope in general, not flat Earth about it, but just in general. I am going to try to talk to, what was his name? Protothad. There you go. Protothad. Because he's basically, I guess, like an expert in celestial navigation. Those are the type of things I kind of want to get under my belt and understanding, so we'll see where that goes. I still have a geoengineering weather modification presentation kind of to do. It's not really a presentation, just updated things to go through and things I'm looking at and discussions that are happening with the global warming stuff. So I hope you guys will join me for that. Other than that, I can't think of anything. Like I said, I didn't have a lot planned for today, but it turned out fucking great. I do appreciate everyone that was on the panel. I'm just excited about the computer, so that's why we got everything running. So that's good to go. Everything seems great. So I don't see any issues like the last stream 2 back, where I was having audio issues and crap like that. That dinosaur computer is sitting right next to me, and she will be treated adequately. She will not be thrown away to the dumpster. She has done too much. That computer, I had that computer for 9 years. So yeah, excited about the new computer, excited about things to come. Thank you guys for being here. Again, you know how this works. I'm just ranting like a fool as I pull up this. Thank you guys. I will see you probably tomorrow. Peace.
Agrees with experiment, it's wrong. And that simple statement is the key to science. It doesn't make a difference how beautiful your guess is. It doesn't make a difference how smart you are who made the guess or what his name is. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong.
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on a mission. Go. Okay, let's get it. Got a little time on my hands like a wristwatch. I don't got time for the brakes and the pit stop. Race through the gridlock, take it like Chris Rock. Right to the chin, still win. Heavy metals like Slipknot. Got the driving, I got tunnel vision. I just hit my stride the way I run the business. I've been making paper like I'm Dunder Mifflin. See the end game, I got one division. Look, I don't ever bother with a critic. Hit him with a chronicle of Riddick. Boom, bottle full of Ritalin. I hit him with a little bit of riddle me this, riddle me that. My bad, fell asleep at the gas. No time to wait though. Elon Musk, I'm trying to bankroll. New Tesla just cause I say so. Electric whip like Ivan Vanko. I just did it. W's only, you know I've been winning. Top of the world, the globe is spinning. If you know, I've been on a Mission. Okay, let's get it.
I've been on a mission like totally spice. I'm a baddie, she bad, but she totally nice. Nails are blue and her toes feel like white. They complete me, met jou dat is zo voor mijn lijk. Ik doe it for sure, but